Are you going to ask me to growl? I've practiced it and I don't do it well.
Okay, no, but you've practiced. You're aware.
I have tried.
You ready?
Oh my God, I just hit myself.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Whispers. You gotta whisper with me because you're not growling with me. You gotta whisper with me. Yeah? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Whispers and Growls. Wendy hasn't learned how to growl, so it's fine. I forgive her. Right, today I have with me Wendy Okeke. Okeke?
Yeah, Okeke.
Okeke. Oh, I actually said it and I was like, I actually just said it wrong. Okeke.
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 Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Today I have with me Wendy Okeke. She's a poet. She reached out to me and was like, Michael, please, I beg you, let me come on your show and let me read some of my poetry. So
is this boy disgracing me on his page?
So I checked out her work and I love how she writes. And I try to go through, I've gone through all the poems now. I try to go through them and I just like her writing style. Some of the stuff she's written, I think suit the spoken domain, as in, if you were to read them out loud, I think people would enjoy it. And some of the stuff that she's written also, I think you can't read it out loud and enjoy it the same way as reading it with your eyes. So today we're going to go through her works, we're going to go through some of her poetry and the inspiration and stories behind some of them. Is that good?
It's good.
Sweet. Wendy.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about your book? Your anthology, your collection of poetry.
It is a chapbook, so it's not a full collection of poems. It is a collection about grief and the different phases of grief, which I started a few years after my father died while trying to process the grief I experienced. So I had written poems about his passing, but I never tried to put them together. It was on experiencing other losses in my life that I realized that this is also grief, and I started to put them together during my MA, and now we have Grief First Kissed.
I see. Your master's?
Yeah.
All right. What was your master's in?
It was in creative writing experimentation.
I see. So this is your bag. You've learned, you've studied how to craft words.
Well, I can say that. I learned to say that.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough. In your book, which one do you think is your favorite poem?
That would be the first poem.
All right.
A Toast to a Man Who Always Lifted My Spirit. Yeah.
Can you take us through the story behind that?
Well, I started writing that poem, I think, 5 years after my father had passed. And I think it was more about introspecting on us, and by us I mean my family, stepping out of some sort of shadow of grief. That was the first time we threw some sort of memorial for him, and I think that's when I started writing that poem, because it felt like we were coming away from a phase of our grief and stepping into something new.
I see. Though
it was still grief, but it wasn't as heavy. But it still felt heavy.
I see. How many years after the passing did you do the memorial? 5 years. 5 years. I see. How long has it been since he passed?
It's been, that's 2016.
Those are the major passes, I guess.
Yeah.
Parents. And I'm not ready for mine. No, I think.
I don't hope for you to experience that grief of losing a parent, you know.
It's either I experience it or they experience it.
Yeah. There must be some sort of experience of grief. That's just
unfortunately.
It's just the truth about life.
I do something sometimes. I don't think this will help me because it's just my head. Some days I imagine what it will be like if someone I love passes away. And I just see what emotions come through. But I don't think that will actually help. Do you think?
I don't think you can imagine the death of a person or the passing or the loss of a thing, because you wouldn't know how you react in that loss. I mean, I didn't know what it would feel like, how I would react to the loss of my father or something. I didn't think through it. I didn't even think I was grieving. So I never thought about the death of my dad. And then when it did happen, I wasn't sure how to handle it because no one teaches you how to grieve. You're just thrown into it.
Yeah.
And then you have to swim through the currents of all of your emotions, and
I see.
you have to learn to be a different person or the same person while carrying that heaviness.
I see.
So
Was it sudden?
it was sudden. It was so unexpected.
I'm sorry.
Thank you.
Can you take us through your poem? Should we read it first and explain it, or do you want to explain it first? The stanzas, stanza by stanza, or should we read it first?
I think we can read it first.
Okay,
And then
let's read it first.
A toast to a man who always lifted my spirit. This grey indulgence of who we are is a cool blue of indigo playing on the window panes since you've been away. Sometimes I settle into the orange feeling that my father is my deepest loss. This and the knowing that I am mostly red, swelling with rage just knowing this absence. We celebrate, my family and I, and this yellow warmth tragedy holds us close yet separates us from one another. We gather ourselves from the grey, dry walls of our rooms on some mornings, and lately with the tiny laughter that leaves my niece's tender mouth. Our mouths still sullied from yesterday's heaviness, we collect ourselves. Sometimes we are outnumbered, wounds scalding off the thickness of our memories. On these mornings, I am awoken by the worship of women, a seance for the living. We drink from each other's words, an infant gathering, each prayer soft landing between clasped hands, applauding the rising of our spirits. My home mimics an emptiness, a fraction of who I once was. The windows in my mother's room are now white as pure stone, sky high and wide. She screams always to leave the curtains drawn. The heat will steal the oxygen away. And this loss is not as gentle as the heat. I think she fought the heat from smearing your photograph, hanging between her mirror and the nightstand. The loss is still as wide, hollow, void, and the heat treacherous on our hovering grief. I, my father's daughter, am not reminded of this by the reflection of grief that greets me in the morning sometimes. I know this because even when my body is grave and stiff, I still carry him in my spirit. Our hearts are melting on the weave of love's repairs. We drink from each other's longing. The time for tears past, a back and forth motion of surrender. We claim for the 5th time. We drink to our surrender.
Thank you. I gather that your family, you all passed through the grief together, it seems.
Yeah.
It wasn't an isolated experience for everyone. Everyone grieved at the same time.
In a way, I mean, I literally wanted to run from my house at the point when my father passed, because it felt like everyone else's grief would envelope me and I couldn't breathe. So in a way, we went through it together. In a way, we went through it on our own individually, to be honest. But yeah.
Do you think that makes the experience easier or harder? Grieving and also seeing other people grieve and being reminded again of the grief?
Not sure if it can be described as being easy or harder. I just think it can be overwhelming to experience grief next to someone else experiencing it. And people kind of expect you to do it the way they are. And I think that's what's difficult, wondering if you're grieving enough.
I see. I have a question.
Yeah.
So, throughout your book, and the theme is grief here, there are other poems that I don't know if you're doing it metaphysically, right? So I think 3 poems from that one you read. I think 3 poems from the next one, it's like we can't read that poem. You know what I'm going for?
Why can't we read the poem?
Because it's a PG platform.
Oh yeah, I know that poem.
Yes, that poem. Not hide and seek.
Yeah.
Yes,
I consider being by you a type of storytelling.
Is that about grief, or is it actually about a person?
It's about a person, but it's about a person that held me through my grief. And so this is the experience of this was an experience while I was grieving, you know. I think one of the things I noticed is how many ways I just wanted to distract myself from it. Yeah.
I see. That's what I initially interpreted it as. But then I was like, could this be a metaphysical embodiment? Is a metaphor for grief? But no, it's a very raw poem, guys. I can't read it here. You guys know where I am. So if I can't read it here, you know exactly what it's about. If you're curious, check out my book. And yes, there were several other poems that I was like, yeah, I can't read that. Let me just move on. But you write it very well. I have to say, I have to give you a props for that.
Thank you.
You write it very well. I was like, okay. Hey, today's Sunday. Today's Saturday. Church is tomorrow, please. Right. Fair enough. And like I said, about some poems that I enjoyed reading because I like how they're written and how they sound on my lips or my imagined lips.
Would you read one?
I would like to read one, yes. Or is it? There was hide and seek. 1, 2.
Hide and seek, that's interesting.
Before I read it, can you tell me what it's about? It's very scary.
Yeah.
It's not scary, but it's like, what's going on here?
Well, I wrote this poem because I realized that grief also shows its face in different ways. Like, this is not about someone losing a person or someone dying or passing. This is about loss of self, you know, of identity. And I think sometimes we grieve ourselves, who we were, who we hope we would have been, or who we hope we could have been, and we are not.
I see. This friend of yours.
Yeah.
Is it an actual friend or is it a metaphysical friend? I don't know, because it's poetry.
It's an actual friend.
Okay, sorry. Did you say that? Did I miss that? Yeah, sorry. All right. So, the poem goes, my best friend hides the knives before sleep. Her breath ragged, as though swallowing fear, lungs trembling beneath the weight of it, trying to trap the air before it rips her apart. She won't speak of the missing blades, the needles tucked away like secrets, the razors buried in the shadows, witness to a story she refuses to tell. She won't mention the fall in the shower, or the screams that erupt at night as she scrubs the bathroom floor, knees raw on the cold tiles, something to control. And you, when your mind becomes grey balloons tangled in regrets, a carnival of chaos too loud to bury, too vivid to sleep through. You become the clown, but the joke isn't funny. This room, a ward for broken things, ones who sift through themselves, hunting for something worth saving. The waiting is brutal, no haven there. What do you know about the ashy taste of longing, wet on your bottom lip? The names that choke you pressing into your throat, begging for release. What have you heard about the stillness that rots you from the inside, leaving no scars but crushing your bones? The kind that eats you whole and leaves nothing behind. What do you know about the count? The suffocating christening of figures, a timeline, 1, 2, 3, jump. What about the box? Stuffed with promises of freedom, its shiny red ribbon tightening around your chest. Your back arched into a C, rocking back and forth, the air slipping away, only returning to choke you. I like that. It's dark. I hear that. But I like it. Because I'm on the voice acting side of poetry, when words just sound a certain type of way. Also, I do make it fun the way that I play with them. I like them and like, yeah, I do like some dark poetry too. So as unfortunate as this situation is,
it is an unfortunate situation. Like,
yeah, I do like it too. I see. I'm very curious. I don't know. It's her story to tell, so I can't ask too much, can I?
I guess not. But I wrote the story because I witnessed that. So I felt like it's also my story to tell.
I see.
You know. Yeah, I think writing this was confronting that my friend at the time was going through something terrible and she couldn't speak about it. But I knew it. Like, I could see it, I could feel it. And I didn't also try to ask her about it because I didn't want to, you know, I didn't want her to have to avoid me because I've brought it up now, you know. So I kept waiting for her to tell me about this grief that I knew she was feeling. Yeah. So I think this is a grief of self.
I see.
Yeah.
How did you end up, if you have resolved the issue? How did you end up resolving the issue?
I mean, she never spoke about it.
Oh.
I think she may have found her way through it on her own. Yeah. This was my only way of actually talking about that situation without pulling her into it.
Does she know about this poem?
I'm sure she does. She has a copy of the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
She hasn't hit you up afterwards to be like, is this about me?
I mean, she once told me, I could tell you're sobbing me. And I'm like, sobbing? No. Truth saying. Yes.
I hear that. I'm controversial. So it's like I can recognize certain things that are, this is bad. But even stuff like grief, right? There is, as much as I don't like it and as much as I don't look forward to it happening, me going through it, me being possessed by grief, some parts of me realize like, okay, this painful thing that I'm going through is beautiful because it's me experiencing all parts of life. And I don't like that feeling, what it brings, but it's also like, I'm experiencing something, but I'm morbid in that capacity. Anyways, I can't tell anyone how to experience or think about grief, but there's something beautiful. I'm not going to go there. It's not, it's too early for us to talk about
beautifully haunting.
Yeah.
You know, I think in grief, you re-experience the love that is driving that emotion because you have so much of it inside you. And it feels like love that has nowhere to go, like Regina King said. You know, but it's having all of that emotion just bubbling inside you, and you know that that's all that it can. You can't. There is no action. There's no action that would probably sieve that out of you. You know, and you just have it inside you, and you just have to keep it in and keep swelling with it, and it just turns into this thing that makes you sad. You know. Because there was a time it used to come out of you and it used to be like sunny and warm and beautiful. And now it's just gloomy and you feel blue and downcast and you're just in this despair. You can feel like it might be beautiful because it is love. But it's one that is haunting you.
Yeah. Let's not explore that this evening. We'll do that another day. And then another poem of yours that I did like reading through. What did I say it was called? Not body language, definitely not. Another interesting poem. There we go. Because I'm curious about this, what it means. Because you've personified grace, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. I interpreted it correctly. So Threads of Grace.
Yeah.
What is this about?
I think it's about finding light even in the darkest time of your life. You know, it's being pulled out of that darkness. And I wrote it because I think grace is always possible. I think you can always be pulled out of a dark, sunken place. And I think that's what I was trying to do. Like also being pulled out of grief, you know, out of that type of grief that puts you in that type of place, you know, that dark, sunken place. Yeah.
All right. So it goes. It's called Threads of Grace. It goes. Each time grace slips from the shadows like a whispered secret to find us, it is a poem emerging from a dark room from dusty demons exorcised twice. We find ourselves in shreds, gasping for breath as though the air conspires against us, as though we are not meant to taste stars, to let them melt on our tongues, honeyed words in a lover's mouth. When we are asked to pray, we begin with a song, our voices drowned in shame, a feast of trembling words on reluctant tongues. We stitch upon ourselves, layer after layer, the angst of all we are not and can never be. This grief, a chill in the marrow, spreads like frost from the breath of a haunted soul. But when grace enters, like dawn parting a cracked window, a silver thread slipping through the needle's eye, piercing that which clings like second skin. She steps softly into the room, catches our unbelief in the corner of her eyes at the bottom of a bottle of wine, under the rubble of toppled dreams, in the dying embers of a year-old blunt. Sorry. It's all dreams. She catches... I'm distracted. A year-old blunt. Who's keeping a blunt for that long? Jeez. Okay. Catches our unbelief in the corner of her eyes at the bottom of a bottle of wine, under the rubble of toppled dreams, in the dying embers of a year-old blunt. With a conscious smile, she pulls our hearts from its sunken, hidden place, drapes over us like a shadowed embrace. She lifts us, torso to feet, pulling us from the quicksands of despair, asks, that we take small steps. We take small breaths, inching ever toward a thing greater than us. And so, we gather enough breath in our lungs, lunge forward and speak, loud enough for our wounds to breathe the same air as us, for our bodies to surrender their burdens. We say, something good is happening, and we give ourselves permission. Amen. I like it.
Thank you.
I like it. Oh. Do you keep your blunts for that long?
Well, the point of speaking about the dying embers of a year-old blunt, it means that the despair has forced you to go to a thing that was abandoned a year ago to suppress that feeling. You know, you've had to go to something that you didn't touch for a whole year because you're just rifling through your life and trying to find some semblance of hope.
I hear that. Yeah, I don't believe you keep your blunts for years. The metaphor just made me like, wait, what did I just make? Sorry. Brilliant. Yeah. Grace. So that was like the themes here feel quite biblical. That's why I was curious whether or not you were, because it doesn't, because of the things you've written before. I didn't think you were.
I can be Christian and be human at the same time.
Fair. Do you have any other ones you really like?
I mean, I like all of them.
Yeah, I imagine so.
I like all of them. I think my favorite poem after Toast to a Man Who Always Lifted My Spirits, it's I Am a Place. Yeah, it's the shortest poem I think I've ever written. But, like, it's also my favorite.
Can you read out for us and explain it?
Okay.
Go on.
Mother's scream shatters the air. The bullets let loose. Here they come, dragging a white coffin bright against the dusk. Mike has returned. My siblings and I, shadowed soldiers, stand next to her. She falls, we fall, to hold her up. Who are we today? The ones Earth has betrayed. I am a place that has taken another piece of me to a grave. Mother collapses again. We fall. No one holds us up but the ground.
Yeah.
That's it.
I'm taking it in. I'm allowed to take it in.
You just got quiet.
Yeah, I'm appreciating it. Is there more to it? Can you explain it? Can you break it down for us?
I mean, this particular poem I wrote right on the day of his burial. This was just what happened on the day of the burial. Like, my mom was just behind a curtain screaming that her husband has come back, and this is when they were bringing the coffin in, and she spoke about him like he was alive.
Yeah.
You know. And my sister and my brother, we just went around her because we're supposed to go and then look at the body. Like, why do they make you look at the body? Like, why do they make you look at the body?
Yeah.
I don't understand that. And we were asked to look at the body. And my mom just couldn't. She wasn't even there, you know. It was just my siblings and I think. And then she fell because she was close to the coffin. And we went the first time and held her up. And then they lowered the coffin and she fell. And when we tried to pick her up, we couldn't get up. For some reason, we just all stayed there on the ground, holding her. I guess we just couldn't get up. We just couldn't get up a second time. It's just, Yeah. The ground was the only thing holding us up.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty straightforward.
No, I hear that. I don't know, it's making me think as well about stuff. Last person. No. Oh, last person. Last time I lost someone was maybe 2-3 years ago. My grandmother passed away, and same thing. They present you. We have like a wake keeping in Ghana, so like they lay out on like a bed or whatever, and then you go into the room, and everyone in the community goes and looks at that, and it's a very interesting experience. I don't know why they make you do it, but at the same time, it's like I think once it's there, whether or not you look at them or not is something. Whether or not you can bring yourself to go into the room to look at them, or whether or not you can't is something. But I don't know. I think if it's a significant thing, and having that choice, I think the option to have that choice is important. Even though it's like, why are we doing this? But at the same time, it's like, I don't know.
I didn't want to look in the coffin. I didn't want to have to see my father that way. I mean, it was important to say goodbye, I guess. I think that's what it's for.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think looking at that just breaks you in a different way.
Yeah.
It just becomes more real. And I guess that's why my mother just couldn't. And I don't think she was allowed to. Yeah. But yeah.
I don't know how to end this. We've explored it. I've experienced some stuff myself that's going through this. Wow. It's an artifact I've created here. This is brilliant. Thank you, Wendy, for bringing this to me. Funny enough, I have another friend who's written, I have this poetry book, and I illustrated that poetry book too.
Oh.
And part of the book, he goes about talking about grief, because it's called The Young Carers Inc., I think, by E-Man Messenger. And his mother passed. Oh, yeah, I remember. While we were illustrating the book, I think his mother passed away. And anyways, that's the whole thing. I wanted to invite him to talk about some stuff, but he's released another poetry book, so maybe I don't have to go through this grief thing again.
Like, at some point, I was like, I'm tired of talking about grief.
Yeah. Oh.
When I started writing, putting together the collection, I realized that for years, all I could write about was grief. You know, like I was putting together a collection of poems for this chapbook, and every poem I stumbled upon was like about grief. And I took that to my mentor at the time, who was my supervisor as well during my MA, and she was like, sometimes when you're writing, you just write what you're feeling, and it would mean that you have been grieving for quite a while. You know, I couldn't write anything else. Now I'm writing other things, but then I couldn't write anything else.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, when she told me that, it made sense. Before, I was beating myself up about it. I was like, what type of writer? You can't even write anything else. Like, are you a writer? You know? Yeah. But yeah.
Do you decide what to write, or what you write comes to you in a way? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, it does. Both happen. Both statements are true. I decide what to write, and sometimes I feel what I should write. I wake up with the words just bugging me, and I have to write them down, you know?
I see.
But sometimes I take a process, I pick a topic, or I pick a memory, and I explore it, you know? Or I pick someone else's story, and I explore it. And I explore it by thinking about process. How do I want to write it? So when I say process, I probably create an outline and I say something like, write the memory, write about the person in the memory, come back to 3 distinct details of that memory. So that forms the poem, you know, because I'm using a process. Yeah. So sometimes process, sometimes I just get the words and I write them. Whenever I get the words and when they just come to me, I'm more grateful. Because sometimes they're just no words, and you'd feel like you're not writing. Why? And sometimes I feel sad. But then I remember, I think, was it Ocean or was it Toni Morrison who said, when I'm not writing, I'm thinking. You know. And Ocean says he doesn't believe in writer's block because when he's unable to write, he uses the time to think. Just keep thinking about the work that you want to do, and the words will come eventually. Okay. And I think I really loved that.
I see.
Yeah.
Thanks for explaining. I appreciate it. Well, thank you very much, Wendy, for coming.
I'm so happy that I came. It was really nice to meet you.
Yeah, this was experience. Brilliant. This is stranger danger, by the way, you know? Just met a random person off the internet.
Yeah, I know. At least you're like, people know you. If anything happens, everyone knows where I am.
There's a paper trail, guys. Yeah. I'm safe. So, yeah, thank you for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for this episode. Check Wendy out. Of course, I'll leave details and descriptions and everything. Right. So, yeah. We'll end it there.
Yeah.
Right. Bye, everyone. Stay alive.
Bye.
Bye.